Start first up with the latest that's coming in on the statement that's been put out, in the interview that's been given by the External Affairs Minister, Dr. S. Jaishankar, to news agency. He says that free run has been given to Khalistanis in Canada, further saying that this has been a bone of contention that has led to strained ties between the two countries. In fact, to quote Dr. S. Jaishankar, who says that the issue at heart is the fact that in Canadian politics, the Khalistani forces have been given a lot of space and allowed to indulge in activities which I think are damaging to the relationship between India and Canada. Clearly not in India's interest, but I would argue not in Canada's interest either. So these were the statements given by Dr. S. Jaishankar, the External Affairs Minister, while he spoke to news agency ANI. Mincing no words there, clearly stating that the reason for strained ties is the free run being given to Khalistanis. Let's go across to our senior executive editor, Abhishek Kapoor, also joining us. Abhishek, the words, of course, by Jaishankar, very straightforward. He's clearly stated that the reason for the strained ties between India and Canada is the free run being given to Khalistanis by the Trudeau government.
Well, Samiksha, so I think the External Affairs Minister, they're putting the record straight. Of course, not the first time he has been speaking about this from whichever platform he has been speaking, including including joint press conferences. And essentially what the External Affairs Minister is underscoring is that there is a modicum of indulgence by the Canadian establishment with the Khalistani sentiment, something about which we have known and communicated in numerous times to the Canadian government and other interlocutors. And despite that, the indulgence has continued. And despite the fact that no evidence whatsoever has been shared till date, except for some leaks here and there, the fact remains that India has offered cooperation provided some information is shared. So what began as accusations by Prime Minister Justin Trudeau post the killing of Hardeep Singh Nijjar, I think has provided an opportunity for India to engage with the larger world community on the kind of fertile ground Canada provides to the Khalistani elements. And I think that's what the External Affairs Minister is saying. Also that the present government there in Canada perhaps does not think on those lines, that while Khalistani activity from Canadian soil, and remember just about 2 days back, we have again declared some gangsters working out of Canada, based out of Canada, as designated terrorists. The fact is that it's not just detrimental to India's unity and territorial integrity. In many ways, it's harming the social fabric of Canada, and someone back there has to understand the implications of their indulgence. So I think, enough number of times, the External Affairs Minister using the opportunity of this interview to set the record straight when it comes to allegations coming in from the Canadian side on the Khalistanis too.
Yes, Abhishek, and the latest example, of course, being Goldie Brar, who's been declared a terrorist who seems to have taken shelter in Canada. But talking more about the strained ties between India and Canada, do you think that there is any going back here on when it comes to the strained ties between the two countries? Because Jaishankar has made it clear that until and unless there's a strong stand that's taken on Trudeau's part, there's no going back.
Oh, absolutely, but I think it goes beyond. If you read between the lines what the External Affairs Minister is saying, he's actually talking about democracy is not behaving like democracy. So in a way, he uses those words. He says, I'm holding a mirror, and it's not just about what Canada has said. It's about even what has happened subsequently in the case of United States and a clear case of, the American deep state providing a veneer of protection to Khalistani designated terrorists so far as India is concerned, Gurpatwant Singh Pannu. I think the External Affairs Minister really not just talking about Canada, but the entire ecosystem provided by the West to these Khalistani elements, and not being in the interest not just of India, but in the interest of those respective bilateral relationships. So I think this would be heard where it needs to be heard, and I think there is a reason why the External Affairs Minister has spoken, because he wants to really underscore the importance that India attaches to these to tackling these elements and the protection that they get, the unwarranted protection that they get from those jurisdictions.
Abhishek, requesting you to stay with us. If you can once again put this into context for our viewers as well, the kind of charges that have been made by Trudeau over the past few months, has Canadian government been able to provide any sort of an evidence when it comes to those big charges that Trudeau government has made against India?
Absolutely none until date, because we are closely tracking the story, Samiksha, and the viewers know about the manner in which we have covered every aspect of the allegations made by Justin Trudeau specifically and the subsequent developments. We had heard about a fortnight back about the Canadian police closing in on 2 suspects, but as yet there has been no development on that front. Subsequently, we have seen parallel developments taking place in the United States in the Gurpatwant Singh Pannu episode, where they have filed a charge sheet in a U.S. court of New York and arraigned one Indian citizen and another Indian government official as an accused. So I think External Affairs Minister, of course, there have been private conversations already. For example, there has been the 2+2 dialogue between India and the United States. There have been summit-level talks in the backdrop of those developments between the topmost leadership, between President Biden and Prime Minister Modi.